do you think, Brian?
Go ahead.
Let me get that. So welcome. Thank you guys for being on. We're really excited. We wanted to do a little like office hour type thing with ACS resources because it's such a great tool and we want to make sure everybody is one aware of it and how to use it. So we've got a little bit prep to navigate through and show you guys some stuff, and then we'll have time for questions and navigate around. I will introduce myself. I forgot to do that. Sorry. I am Susie Lawrence, and I'm the lead volunteer for the National Relay Leadership Team. And my staff partner is Brian Sherwood, and you can introduce yourself, friend.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Brian Sherwood. I'm the senior director for Relay for Life. So I get the joy of being Susie's staff partner.
Yes, and he is like the guru for ACS resources. So you could not have a better resource on tonight. So Brian, you want to share your screen and we'll go through a few of the basics of ACS resources, and then we've got a small enough group. If you want to put stuff in the chat, we'll try to answer it. And then at the end, we'll take some questions, unless Brian, you want to take questions throughout.
Yeah, I'll pause throughout, Susie, and if you could help
Okay.
me with the chat, and seeing if we get any questions in there, and then we'll let folks come off mute as well if they'd like to. So, um, thank you all for being with us tonight. Hopefully, we can get any of your questions answered about ACS resources, or just maybe give you a refresher, or if you're new to ACS resources, learning to navigate it for the first time. I do want to mention, ACS resources was volunteer built. If you're not familiar with my story, I started a little over a year ago as staff at ACS after being a relay volunteer for 17 years. And so as part of that during COVID, if you've been around, you might remember Relay Connect or Relay Nation, what we used to call it. We moved that to a new platform. And then as we kind of continue to have evolved into community fundraising, moved that to ACS resources where we can house all kinds of things, whether they're Relay for Life specific or not. The platform has lots of flexibility, and so that's what, after I do some kind of basics overview here, we definitely want to hear from you tonight of what's working, what's not working, what are you able to find, what are you still looking for. It's always evolving and always adding new things to the platform. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. You'll see right now we're on the Relay for Life homepage on ACS resources. There is a main homepage that I'll show you here in just a sec, that is for all of our community fundraising. But if you get to this point, you're always able to get back to the Relay stuff by clicking on Relay for Life at the top of the screen. So we'll start here on that Relay for Life homepage. First few things that you'll see on the homepage. One, we've got kind of our slider here. This is going to be showing you the current latest and greatest. And if you're not aware, our YI Relay Challenge started today for our spring and summer events. So we've got that featured here, as well as information on relay training, which you must know a little bit of something about because you're here with us tonight. So we also have news from My Society Source. This is the volunteer news for volunteer leaders from the American Cancer Society. And we've got any relay specific announcements. So this is where we announce challenge winners, our Relay for Life awards, or any other relay specific announcements. And then just some basic navigation items that we featured here on the homepage. I'm not going to go into depth into all of these, but I will talk a little bit about them as I go through other pieces of the site. Up at the top, you've got your main navigation. And one of the things that we found as we were rolling out ACS resources is that, there was so much stuff to find that it was sometimes hard to find what you were looking for right now. And so, for example, we're in the YI Relay Challenge. What if I want to find out the details or get the social media graphics for the YI Relay Challenge? So we added a quick links function. And so you'll see here, that's got some of the latest and greatest information and some of our most sought content. So it should come to no surprise to anyone on the call that t-shirts are a frequently asked question. And so we've got that information here. We've got that Grand Club and All-Star program information, information on submitting relay stories to our marketing team for feature in future marketing resources and publications, and then just being able to find out what's new on the site. So I'm going to start and just show you a couple of these just so you can see what they look like. We'll start with the YI Relay Challenge. So you can see, what we've really done in the relay program is put everything in one spot. This includes for our volunteers and our staff. Occasionally we'll have some staff specific resources, but most of the time, because relay we know is a volunteer-led, staff-supported event, we want to put it all out there for our event leadership team, so you're able to be empowered to answer questions and lead within your communities. So you'll see the YI Relay Challenge info. It's got all the details, all the nitty gritty of how the challenge works. And then we even have some social media graphics that you can use when your event is participating in the challenge. Same thing with our t-shirts, right? So we've got information here on t-shirts, probably more information, certainly more information than I ever wanted to know about t-shirts is on this page. You've got all the designs for this year's shirts. You've also got a very extensive FAQ that generally will answer most questions from folks about how t-shirts work in 2024. So great information at your fingertips there that you can share with your event leadership team, your team captains, anyone that needs to know. So moving on as we go through the navigation here, you can see we have all kinds of info about Relay. I'm not going to go through all of this in depth, but I mean, you could spend hours sitting here reading about our nationwide Relay leadership team, which Susie leads, Voices of Hope, Gold Together, our childhood cancer initiative, legacy and heritage teams. You could dig into all of it. I'm going to move past that. That's a lot of like, let me learn more about Relay. Could be helpful if you're educating someone when you're getting ready to ask them to join you at Relay, but in reference information, if you will, there. But really, it's called ACS Resources, so we better find some resources on the site as well. So let's take a look at this resources drop down. The first thing you're going to see there is training. Again, most of you probably know about this because you're here. But if you see just a second, let me get rid of that. If you see our training page, you can see not only the live trainings that are upcoming. So, you've got the training that's happening right now. We've got a training coming later this week. That's our Luminaria sales training. Any of these that you see that say all day, that means it's a pre-recorded training. So you can watch it whenever you want. There won't be live Q&A. It'll just be made available around that date. Sometimes we even get them on there a little bit sooner than that. But it's just kind of a heads up that the training is coming and that something's going to be available for you to watch. Again, we've got another live training coming up in April on fundraising strategy and ideas. But the best part of our training page is the library of recorded trainings. So you can go through here and you can see trainings on pretty much anything you could imagine. We've got not only the trainings from this year, but also our Unified Event Support ran a training series last year, and all of those trainings are available on demand as well. And because we know that some people sit and stare at a screen all day for work, myself, they might not want to sit and stare at a screen in the evenings. We do have most of our trainings available on the podcast feed, so you can listen to them while you're walking your dog, or just not staring at a screen. Sometimes that's nice. So most of those are available either on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, right here on the right-hand side for you as well. Excuse me. So that's our training library. So if we move on from the training library here in our resources section, the next one we're going to click on is all Relay for Life resources. And so what is a resource versus a social media asset? These are all ACS resources terms that you'll want to know when you're browsing through the website. So a resource is anything that is not like a picture you would post on social media. So think a toolkit, a document, templates for certificates, templates for your event program, things like that live in the resources area of the site. You'll also notice that we've got some of our campus relay content here, but what's really powerful about when you're browsing on this site, or even when you're searching on this site, is on the right-hand side, you can filter down to what you're looking for. So let's say I'm just looking for things that are relay. I don't want generic ACS stuff included. I can click on this Relay for Life option here, and you can see it's going to show me the 250 relay-specific resources that are showing up. I also can filter by what type I'm looking for. So I could add in some of these other, I mentioned social media assets. I'll talk about that in a second. I can add in fundraising ideas if I wanted to look at that. I can choose how I want to sort. If you're, just feeling like browsing, you even can do a random order here. And then we have all of these categories available as well for, again, to find out or to find exactly what you're looking for. So let's say I'm looking for things related to logistics. We're in the heart of relay season right now. Events are happening. I want to see things that are going to help me for my day of planning. You'll see now I'm seeing things like the logistics role responsibility, a day of event checklist, maybe some Luminaria scripting if I needed some of that. This is a frequently asked for one, the Luminaria, where it changes from hope to cure. We've got all that information on there. And again, you can drill down to find exactly what it is that you're looking for. So when you click into a resource, you'll see a couple different things. One, most things allow for a preview. This is something we added last year to ACS resources where you could see what the document looked like before you downloaded it. This, in most cases, will preview correctly. You will see sometimes with like PowerPoints and stuff, it doesn't look exactly right. But it gives you an understanding of what you're getting before you click that download button, and now it's downloaded onto your computer. So in this case, I can actually even read through the Luminaria layout instructions here and make sure that they're what I want. Then I click download and it's going to download it to my computer. So a few options here to share it as well. If you wanted to post it on social media or send it in an email, you can do that here. All inside of this resource. You will sometimes see that things are protected by a login. That login is just your Relay for Life account. So it's not really restricted. We are just putting an extra little speed bump from people scraping our website for resources. This just requires you log into your society account. Generally, this is going to be things that are specifically for event leadership teams rather than just for your average participant. So that's resources. Before I move into social media assets, I'm going to pause and see, Susie, if we have any questions. I don't know if anything's come in the chat or if anyone wants to come off mute and ask any questions about resources specifically.
Nothing in the chat. Anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
I have a quick one. Our community has decided to try a Bark for Life.
Yeah.
It would be the first one that I've ever participated in. I've done a little research and found a couple of things. Has anybody had any experience with this in the past? And we love our canine companions and caretakers, right? So just kind of a new way to fundraise, I guess.
Well, at Neosho, we did one. It's been several years back. We were in a nice park area, and I really wasn't sure what to expect, but it did go over well. We didn't have any issues. It kind of can draw in a different crowd of people maybe than what comes to your actual relay event sometimes. I remember we had some little scarves for the dogs, that go around their neck and some little things like that. But I guess not really a lot, but it was successful. We just don't have enough people or anybody that had an interest to do that again this year.
Yeah, one of the ladies works at a dog salon, I call it. So they're going to have somebody that's going to come and do clips. I guess earlier this year, ACS had where you could buy some Bark for Life line, but we were too late to the game. We missed out on that. So we're going to probably go to, what is it, Oriental Trading Company or something like that, just to kind of get some swag for dogs and pets and, little doggy pooper holders and, whatever we can do for inexpensive. So thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I will look in our relay stuff, and if I find anything that would be, you could use, Pam, I could send it to you. I'll have to get your email, but I guess somebody can shoot that out to me, or you can, or so I can have your mailing address if I find something.
Maybe just put it in the chat.
I'll put it in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks like Lisa and Delma both have done barks and they've put their contact info in there for you, Pam.
Great. Well, we will move right along here and talk a little bit about social media assets. So one of the other options when you go to your drop down on ACS resources in the resources section is social media assets. These are things that are designed to be posted on social media. And so our marketing team is regularly creating assets like this. We go to a few events a year and do what's called content capture, where we take photography and videography at the event, and that's then used to create storytelling videos, and you've probably seen some of those. If you know, and also to create some social media graphics that you're able to use at your event. And so when I click into here, you'll see the social media assets page. Once again, you'll see this little sidebar over here where I can filter down to exactly what I'm looking for. And let's say, you know, I'm looking for some recruitment assets. I have some survivor, social media graphics here. I have information on recruiting ELT, which could be very helpful to me, or even just some general recruitment assets available in here. And so you can see there's all kinds of assets that come up, but what's really great is when you click into them, that's just a preview of what's in that particular, you know, batch. Some are just one image, some are only a couple, but it could be up to 10, which you actually see in this one. There are 10 images available that can be downloaded and used to recruit survivors. So sometimes it's nice to have like a, you know, obviously it's great to use photos from your local event, but sometimes in lieu of that, it's easier to be able to take something that's already been created and get it shared. I know I've seen a lot more of these this year than we saw last year of events that are sharing out our marketing team's great social assets out on social media. So, and these are all fresh. Most of these, just from what I'm seeing right here, are from Thurston County last year. So some great stories to be told there, although this one right here is from Salinas. So that's just an example of some of the social assets you'll see. You also will see one specific to challenges that are ongoing. And so our campus folks are in the midst of their Triple Tuesday, where they're doing $5 off registration on Tuesdays. You'll see the social media assets for that. You'll also see our Y Relay assets here as well. So again, a great tool for you to use, makes posting to your social media, you know, simple. We also designed this to be mobile friendly. So if you're posting to social on your phone, you should be able to go to this page and browse, find what you're looking for, and be able to post it to social on your phone as well. Just, you know, you download the image just like you do on a web browser. So some great things to use there in the social media assets. Some of them also have suggested post content that you can include. Not all of them, but some of them will have that. So you know, you have something you can tweak for your local event when you go to post it as well. Moving along from our social assets, we're going to talk just briefly about brand resources, because this is something that's also very helpful as you're marketing your event. You'll see this page came about because we had our rebrand last year with all new logos and new colors that we love so much. This has got everything that you need to brand your events. So the color codes that you would need to get that perfect relay purple, to the logos in nearly every configuration that you can imagine. So you've got black and white logos here, color, the Bark for Life logos are on here, Pam. All of that stuff is available here on this page. But you've also got some helpful tools down here in the bottom right as well, where our relay brand guidelines are included. This can be helpful if you're working with a local, you know, marketing company and they want to make sure that they're using the logo correctly. Some brand FAQs. So these are, you know, things about the Relay for Life brand that we, you know, we want to make sure stay in the Relay for Life brand. I'll do a plug, as I always do, for the lowercase f, Susie. You know, the F in Relay for Life is always capitalized, and so that kind of information is included in your brand FAQs. Which, if you're an experienced relayer, like, you may be used to seeing the uppercase F, but if you're new to Relay, your word is going to autocorrect that thing every single time back to the lowercase f. And so, you know, if you're bringing somebody in who has marketing experience and, you know, wants to help on your event leadership team, this is a great place to point them to kind of get everything that they need to make sure that they're complying with our brand standards for relay. And then you've got some ACS brand guidelines as well. So, how do we talk about the work of the American Cancer Society? You can use this pocket guide to talk about that, and find full brand guidelines for the ACS brand if you're using that in anything you do there as well. So some great tools available here for branding. The last thing I'll talk about in resources, actually, I'm going to add two things. One is back to our quick links. And if we click on what's new, this is automatically going to show you the latest and greatest that's been uploaded to ACS resources. This is a go-to if you come to the site often, you're just looking to see what might have been added. This is a perfect example because this stuff was actually added today. These are graphics you can use to promote the ACS fundraising app. So, you can talk about sharing to fundraise. You can talk about how you can accept Apple Pay and Google Pay, which a lot of folks, is not well known inside of the app. The latest and greatest is going to be available in here. So you'll see that's just an example of something that is brand new. We have purple and a regular red, white, and blue one of that as well. I can scroll and I can see all kinds of other new assets that were recently made available in here as well. And you've got that same sort in the right-hand side where if I want to filter down to something specific and see what's new in, survivor caregiver resources, I can do that as well. The last thing I'm going to mention, just because I noticed it in this and it's the time of year where we should be talking about this. There is a photography and videography page. So many events get a local photographer or videographer to come out and capture their event. And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I can take a mean photo with my iPhone, but I would not call myself a photographer. I don't know the ins and outs of that industry. I don't know, I'm not going to be able to give a shot list necessarily. Well, we've done the work for you here. Our marketing team has done a great job of putting together some information for professional photographers or videographers about things to capture at Relay, how to capture what makes Relay Relay. If you do have a professional photographer and they and they're donating their time or whatever at your event and they would like to speak to our marketing team, we also offer that. Our team is willing to have a consultation with them, talk through the shot guidelines, and even what are some things that they could do to provide their photography back to ACS to potentially use in future marketing campaigns as well. So we have had some photography submitted that way, that ends up on some of our graphics or even some of our print materials, all based on just going out to events and capturing them. So you'll see all of that is available here. There's also a full shot list available that you can download and send to a photographer. But great stuff available here and definitely timely with us in the heart of relay season now through about June. So great things there. Any other questions about resources before I move into the fundraising tools?
Maybe go over the mission.
Sure.
Because I think this is very helpful for your meetings. You already have mission moments built out in ACS resources. And it's helped me a lot in meetings. So I just want everybody to be aware of it and to see it.
This is a good call out, Susie, because something also happened when I clicked on that I'll talk about in just a second. But lots of tools available here for our mission, as well as resources available to talk about our mission. One thing I want to talk about, though, is that when I clicked on that, you'll notice the relay logo is not at the top of the screen anymore. So you will find sometimes there are resources on the site that are branded ACS rather than being branded relay. And so this is an example. Our mission, applies to all of our fundraising initiatives, whether you're Relay, Strides, and ACS on Campus, or Determination, or any of our other fundraising programs or services. So if you're in this case, you can go and you can browse through the mission resources. You can see there's all kinds of stuff available in here, as well as lots of impact reports and things like that on the right hand side there. And then when you're ready to go back to Relay, you just click on Relay for Life at the top of the screen. That'll take you back to the Relay homepage and you can go back to whatever you were looking for there. So good call out, Susie. Speaking of ACS branded things, we also have some fundraising resources. And again, fundraising applies to several of our events. We have teams doing fundraising in lots of our community fundraising events. So if I click on that fundraising idea database in the navigation, you'll see once again, I'm not in a relay section of the site anymore. But this is a great tool that's maintained by some of our volunteers on the National Community Fundraising Leadership Team, where you literally can browse through fundraising ideas and you can set it by how much it might cost, how much it might raise, how complex is it? Is it difficult to execute? Is it easy to execute? Is it something online or is it something in person? You can look for all of that in here and browse through, and it gives you some great ideas to be able to fundraise. A great place to send your team captains if they're not sure how they want to fundraise. Even if they don't do an idea that's in here, sometimes it's great to like browse through and see what other people have thought of to spark your own idea, because we know the best fundraising events and fundraisers are things that people are already passionate about. To your point, Pam, about the folks who love dogs love Bark for Life because it's something that they already enjoy. It doesn't feel like work when it's something that you love. So a great place to go just for inspiration on fundraising ideas. And you can filter a little bit to, say maybe you have a small team, so you can only, you don't want to do anything that's super complex to put out there. You can filter based on that in here as well. All right, so the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and then we're going to really open it up here for some Q&A, and trying to stump me, I guess, on ACS resources is probably the intent there. Susie, did you have a question?
I didn't think of it that way. I should have been thinking of things all day. Stump Brian. No, there was a mention in the chat about under fundraising resources, the toolkit for Bark. So maybe we should just go through the resources too about fundraising.
Yep.
Other than the ideas.
Yep. So when I click on that, you'll see there's that Bark for Life toolkit. But you're one step ahead of me because I was going to use that as my example for how to search.
Oh,
so,
sorry.
But I'll do it anyway. So the search on ACS resources, it's something that's been an ongoing effort for us to try to improve. Search is surprisingly complicated. Google makes it look so freaking simple, and it's not as simple as you would think. So, we are constantly working to make the search on ACS resources better, but I'll give you a few tips and tricks to searching and finding exactly what you're looking for. So you'll see when I search for Bark, I'm searching in the relay section. So it's only going to show me resources that are Relay for Life related. You'll see it did find what I was looking for here, which is our Bark for Life toolkit that's got all kinds of information, including a suggested ceremony, a suggested schedule, some suggested places to look for sponsorship and recruitment when it comes to Bark. All of that is included in there. You'll also see those logos that I mentioned earlier. Those pop right up as well, a vertical one and a horizontal stacked version. But let's make this a little harder. Let's look for something that maybe is a little more vague than Bark. Let's just look for Survivor. So Survivor is going to come up with a lot more results than Bark is on the site. And so if I'm looking for something in particular, this can start to get a little bit overwhelming in terms of, what I'm trying to find. That's where that right sidebar really comes into play, right? So let's say, again, I'm really looking for a Relay survivor and caregiver resource. And let's say, I'm really looking for a resource, not anything else on the site. Now you can see I've got a much more narrow view of what is available when it comes to survivors. And here are, things that I might want to be able to show. Like, who knew? I didn't even know that I really truly did not know that this existed. A survivor and caregiver speaker how-to guide. I don't know who wrote that. It wasn't me. But there's a guide here for survivors and caregivers of how to tell their story. And what a great resource for somebody who maybe is new in their diagnosis or new in being a caregiver, who's willing to speak, but is like, I don't even know what to cover. Or even for you as an event leadership team member, looking at this resource and saying, okay, now I can coach someone on what they should say or how they should tell their story, or how can I, help them, make their story in a condensed time if it's, maybe a longer one. There's great tools available here. And again, all I had to do was filter down to resources, and there it was. So That right sidebar is really your best friend when it comes to searching and finding what you're looking for. You can find a lot of stuff if you're searching for kind of our more generic terms, but using that to filter down really helps you find exactly what it is you're looking for. I see there's a couple chats. I can't see what they are. Susie,
Brian, in the chat, Delma is looking for updated ACS services flyer. So Delma, are you looking for like Hope Lodge, Road to Recovery, those type of service, the 800 number, or like what our money, $10 goes to this, or can help fund services ACS provides, Brian?
yeah. So, oh my gosh. Okay, I can maybe find anything. I was a little doubtful that I was going to find anything on this. So let me tell you what I did, because I think it's helpful to know how I got here. So
Exactly.
rather than search, something like that is hard, right? Because you don't know what we would call that. Like, what would we call resources about, something, our services at ACS. So if I go to the all resources page, I want to see mission resources. So I'm going to scroll down on the right and I'm going to check the mission box. Now it's showing me things that we've tagged as mission when we're uploading them. None of this is really what I'm looking for. There might be something in the training camp that could be helpful, but that's not really what I'm looking for either. I'm not, maybe ACS 101, that was a training that was done. So that could have some information in potentially. But then I see this, the quick guide to American Cancer Society resources, which is a one-page guide to the resources that ACS provides to cancer patients and their families. What a great tool to be able to share when you're fundraising. It talks about Road to Recovery. It's even got QR codes that people can scan to go directly to cancer.org and find more resources on that. So I think we got you, Delma. I don't know. I can't see the chat. Was that a win, Susie?
Hold on one second. I was watching. I was fangirling. Sorry. Delma has not indicated yet, but Lisa had a question about where the money goes. Is there an updated one of those? And
Yeah.
hopefully we've got Delma. That may be a win, Delma said. She had an old one.
Well, and I think there's other tools on cancer.org, of course, if you're
Yeah.
needing to know about the details about our services. It's hard to talk about every single thing that ACS does, but I think this is a good starting place, at least if you needed something printable.
Yeah.
Maybe a where the money goes. Let's
Yes.
see. I know that's what it used to be called.
Yes.
I don't know. Oh my gosh, that's an ACS can where the money goes. So that's not a win, but I mean, maybe that's helpful for you.
Close.
Let's see. Let's do something that's not relay specific, or it's relay. Let's see. Hold on. I want resources. Not seeing where the money goes. I'm trying to remember what that was called.
I think I've always heard it of where the money goes.
Yeah, me too.
I wonder if it's on cancer.org.
Well, that is true, but probably not as a PDF. I'm looking to see if we put it in fundraising potentially.
Because I've seen it an updated one in a meeting, printed out. So I'm not sure.
Ryan, I thought you would know the answer to this.
Why? Do you know where it is, Lisa? And you're just
No,
not
I
telling me?
don't.
Oh my gosh. That's all I needed was for Lisa to be like, I do know where it is, Brian. Sorry. We might have to take that one for follow-up. I do believe we have updated that, but I couldn't tell you where it is. So
It is such a good resource if you're speaking to like a networking group or somebody that, you want to tell them if you donate $5, where that's going to go to, that kind of thing. It's a great thing.
So that is a slightly different resource than what I was thinking. That is called a tangible giving.
Oh, well, I should have known that.
See, this is half the battle with your ACS resources searching, right? Because you sometimes need to know what it is that you're looking for or what it's called. That is called tangible giving, of like giving a thing for
Tangible
$1 amount.
giving, okay.
And so when I search up tangible, you'll see we've got the tangible giving flyer. And this has got when you donate. Let's see if this is going to load the little preview. When you donate $10, when you donate $25, that's called tangible giving. It's got the $65 for Hope Lodge.
Yeah. Well, Susie, we've learned something. We
Well,
have to update our
And
terminology.
Lisa, that's what this is the one I was thinking of too, Lisa.
Okay,
So,
Me too.
we used to have something else too, so I'm glad this
Yeah.
is the one you were looking for, because that's not what I was imagining. But
we can certainly look for and add where the money goes.
yeah.
Yes.
And I will share, we're adding things to this all the time. Your
Yes.
staff partner is another resource that's available. There are things that are available on Canva for staff that are not on ACS resources. Not everything is moved over. It's something we're continuing to work on and identify things that are high value to volunteers and putting them on ACS resources. So definitely want to hear feedback on that as well. And use that Relay Facebook group too. You're looking for something and you can't find it. Half the time you're going to get a faster answer from just other volunteers than you are from me or any other ACS staff. So definitely a great tool. And if you're not in the Facebook group, that's right there on the top as well.
Okay, Brian, so you get the win.
I'll take it, Lisa. I'll take it.
Years ago, we used to have the pie chart.
That's what I was thinking of, Gail. And
So
I don't
much
know.
went to, research, so much to wages, so much to fundraising, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's maybe what she was originally thinking of.
That's definitely what I was thinking of and couldn't find. So I'll have to find out if we even have an updated version of that. And if we do, getting it on ACS resources, because that's what I was thinking of. That is on cancer.org though. It might not be in a pretty PDF format that you can print. So.
All right. Anybody else have
questions, things you're looking for, things you want to stump me with?
Pam has a question or something. We recently joined last year the local Chamber of Commerce. And this year they're going to have, for the first time in many years, an event at our convention center, which they're expecting over 1,000 people, businesses and residents and such in the area. And the chamber has suggested that we bring some pamphlets on the various types of cancers. So I did reach out to my staff partner, but they're going to cost us like 20 cents per flyer. So it would be great if, I know maybe I could just get 1 or 2 flyers for various things, but then have something with a QR code, because it seems like this days and age, more people like just scan it with their phone or something like that.
Yep.
And to try to save us some money, because it's not feasible for us to try to get 100 different flyers, and there's so many different cancers and blah blah blah. So how would we find something like that on, or is there that tool, right?
That'd be a little more difficult, especially
it's a stretch goal.
Especially if you're including local, like you might want to include local information in there too. But I will tease that in the future we're looking at some Canva access for volunteers, where you might be able to build something like that in Canva. That's in a pilot phase right now. And I'll say that if you're interested in that, that's something you feel like you would use. I'm going to put the Relay for Life inbox in the chat. So feel free to send a message, and we're happy to add, within reason, some beta testers that are actually going to kick the tires on it.
Okay.
So that's something that I would say, if I were in your situation, Pam, I would maybe print, I don't know, a small subset of that number as physical printed material. People actually want that, and then beyond that, put a larger format poster and a QR code to a digital version of the same thing. Because when I go to conferences, I get a lot of printed stuff, and it sits right on a pile in the corner of my desk until I am like, okay, I'm not using this. Like, it's time for it to go in the recycling. So
We agree. You know, some of the, you know, the old fashioned, you know, people like to touch paper,
Yeah,
but same thing. It's just kind of like, there's got to be a way. And, you know, we tell them to go to cancer.org,
yeah.
you know, to find out about their specific needs and such. And we have reached out to a couple of our local printers to see if, you know, again, maybe they can donate in kind to make us a few flyers, right? But
Yeah.
Might not be a
It's a
bad
big-
idea to take that resource we just looked at a second ago that has those QR codes to specific things too.
Yeah, that's
Maybe blow that up into like an 11 by 17 and have that available too. Gets
our
people
booth,
maybe
yeah.
to something more specific service wise that they're looking for. So great.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Anybody else?
Delma agrees. QR
Yeah.
codes are the way to go. Can you, if you've relayed for a long time, I'm picturing in my head the mission table that would have pamphlets upon pamphlets upon pamphlets of cancer information. And, you know, that just seems unthinkable now. I'm sure there's still some events that have some printed material out, but then the wind would come because it's
It's old.
relay. And of course the wind would come.
Of course, we would.
Yeah, there's what, 200 cancers? So
Yeah.
And to Delma's point in the chat, they change all the time, right?
Right.
New things are coming out, new screening guidelines, new research, new treatment options. You know, you certainly don't want to be stuck with 1,000 pamphlets, Pam, that are out of date immediately. So,
Right.
any other questions?
You have the best person available tonight. So see why I love my staff partner? He's so good. So, anything you can think of.
Well, I just want to make a comment. I've been relaying, well, I've been a volunteer for ACS for 45 years.
Wow. Thank you.
But in all stages, chairs, this and that. But this relay source now is just fantastic. And I'm ashamed to say that I really only got turned on to it actually a few weeks ago because I might end up being lead for relay this year. And I sat here the other day, and like you said, 3 hours went by and I was just punching and I kept finding more and more information. So thank you. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you for all you do, Gail, and for maybe stepping up this year. It sounds like it's not a done deal yet, but we'll get you there.
I'm trying to avoid it, but I don't think I can.
Well, we appreciate your leadership.
I was chairman of a gala for 25 years, and that was enough chairmanship for me. So, but you know, I can't, my heart's with ACS, and if they're going to need a lead, I'll do it, you know.
Love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Donna,
But you have resources now, Gail.
I'm very excited. We
I
just
love it.
had a question last week at our meeting about the gold teams, and that was one of the first things that popped up there. And I thought, oh my gosh, I got to go back to that.
Well, I'd like to say we have a gold team, and I'm very excited about that. They're the name of the team is Christopher Foundation, and that is a group here that, well, obviously they raise money for childhood cancer. And I knew Christopher. I knew the little boy that this is founded after. And that group does great things. And I kind of pushed him a little bit. I said, oh, I really think this would be a good fit for you guys. So I'm anxious to see what kind of things come out of that.
great.
And also these resources, we've been showing more stuff at our meeting and with, you know, different people on my committee, depending on what they're leading. You know, I'm telling them, I said, there's just so much out here. I can't go through all of it, but, you know, anything we want to know, we can get there. We can call Brian.
Post in the Facebook group. I've been told I'm almost too fast at responding to Facebook. But appreciate that, Donna. And I mean, you know, keep the feedback coming of what we can continue to do to support y'all. So.
And if you run across something, let us know. We can get it on ACS resources. Or if you're having trouble with the search or something, let us know. And I did ask Brian if there's any way to trace my searches, and he assures me no.
Great. Any other questions, comments for the night? Awesome. All right. Well, Susie, I think we'll wrap it up there then.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. Your time.
Thank
And
you.
yes, Gail.
No, I'm just saying thank you.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you had something.
I almost didn't even get on this because I thought, oh, what could it possibly be that I don't know? Well, I found out a hell of a lot.
No, but it's such a wonderful resource. So share it with everybody, you know, so everyone knows it's great. And this will be recorded. Send it out to people that you can think of. And we really appreciate you all, and good luck, and let us know if there's anything we can do to help you.
Agreed. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Thank you. Have a good evening.